Hey there, it's Kat, and this is Brews and Reviews. So throughout May, I'm going to be taking part in Bookemon Badgeathon, a Pokemon-themed readathon. And honestly, I'm just so excited because I love Pokemon and I still play Pokemon Go. This is a team-based readathon and I'm just so excited to take part. Honestly, I am Team Mystic through and through. And I just really want to take part. This readathon was created by Megan from Time Infinity, and if you've taken part in any of her readathons before, then you'll know that she just creates these amazingly creative readathons, and they are so fun and so inventive, and I'm in total awe of how amazing she is when she comes up with all these things. So without further ado, as there are quite a few challenges for this readathon, I am going to give you my TBR and then tell you where I'm probably going to fail. Oh. So one of the main aims of Bookemon Badgeathon is to read so that you can gain Bookemon badges. So every challenge you complete, you receive a badge. I'm going to tell you now that my TBR is actually incomplete because there are a few challenges that I don't really know what I'm going to do for yet, but I'll figure that out later. So I am planning to read all of the battle books, which includes Foundry Side, Illuminate, and The Devouring Grey. And I own Illuminate as of now, and yes, I've already read it once this year, and yes, I'm going to be reading it again because I'm planning to read all 3 of the Illuminate Files books and finally finish this series. So for the creative badge, which is something based on art or music, I'm going to be reading Gemina, as that has a lot of drawings and art in it, and I'm pretty sure that counts. And for the Jester badge, I'm going to pick Obsidio because, well, I don't know if this is funny. The challenge is a humorous book, and I think I just find J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman's writing really funny, so I'm just hoping that it'll count for that challenge because in my head it makes sense that it will. So for the memory badge, you have to read a biography or a memoir, and for this I'm going to read Dressed to Kill by Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard is one of my favourite comedians, and I'm actually going to see him later on in this year, so I am super excited, and I've had this book on my shelf for ages and just never read it because I don't really pick up anything non-fiction, so I'm excited to read this one. So for the exemplary badge, the challenge is to read a classic, and for that one I'm going to pick Macbeth by William Shakespeare. I actually really want to reread this one because I've not read it since I was doing my A-levels, so I was 17, 18 years old, and that was a long time ago now. So I'm going to read this one and annotate it just for, shits and giggles. For the pictorial badge, the challenge is to read a graphic novel, a manga, or a comic, and I've chosen to read One Punch Man Volume 3 by Yusuke Murata, and I've been continuing this series. It just carries on going. It's really funny. I always enjoy it. It's such a parody of superheroes, and after watching Endgame, I need something funny with superheroes, I think. So hopefully I'm going to enjoy this one. For the Amour badge, the challenge is to read a romance or a contemporary, and I'm going to be reading Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. And I don't know that much about it, except that everyone in BookTube seems to have read it, so I thought it was probably about time I picked this one up. For the Chiller badge, you must read a crime, thriller, or mystery book, and I think I can do this one because I'm going to be reading Time of Death by Alex Barkley and Let Me Lie by Claire McIntosh. So basically, I've definitely got that covered. They're both crime thrillers. I've not looked into the plots too heavily because I like my crime thrillers to be a mystery. The challenge for the fantastical badge is to read a fantasy book, and for that one I'm going to read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is obviously set in the same universe as the Grisha trilogy, and it just sounds great. It's about a heist, and everybody goes on about these characters and how amazing they are, and I just really think it's time that I go into this book. For the scientific badge, you read a science fiction book, and for that one I'm going to read Night of the Living Trekkies by Anderson and Stoll. So this is about a zombie apocalypse at a Trekkie convention, and I don't think I need to say anything else to make this book sound awesome. To achieve the rainbow badge, you have to read something with LGBTQIA+ representation, and for that one I'm going to read Highly Illogical Behavior by John Corey Whaley. This is about a gay teenager who is also agoraphobic, so he won't leave his house, and I'm very interested in seeing how that works out. For the panic badge, the challenge is to read a book with horror in it, and I'm going to be picking up The Walking Dead, the original, the first volume, and yeah, I think it's about time I read this. I picked this up really cheaply once, and I was like, wonder if it's worth reading, so I'm gonna try it out and see. For the prose badge, the challenge is to read poetry or a play, and for this one I'm going to pick Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare. I've not read this play before, and it's sort of been on my list. It's on my TBR to read before the end of the year, so, you know, perfect time to pick it up, and yeah. For the diversity badge, the challenge is to read from an author of colour or with a main character who is a person of colour, and I'm going to be reading The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. One of the main characters in this book is biracial, and it also deals with a lot of mental health issues, as one of the main characters has a hallucinatory, one of the main characters has a degenerative hallucinatory disorder, and I'm very interested to see where that happens. There's also some eating disorder rep, so hopefully this book is good. I know very little about it. So I did definitely miss out 2 of the challenges, and that's because I haven't actually picked what I'm going to read for those yet. The challenges I missed out were the historical badge, and that was to read a historical fiction book, because I just don't know. I just don't know. I'll figure something out for that one. I will figure it out when the time comes. Don't really read historical fiction because at one point somebody tried to force me to read The Other Boleyn Girl, and I was like, why is there 600 pages of fan fiction written in tiny, tiny mass market paperback font? It was horrible. And the other challenge that I have not yet figured out what I'm going to read anything for is the Know-It-All badge, which is a non-fiction book, and I don't really read those. So I'll figure that one out. To be honest, I might actually just read Marketing for Dummies, so wouldn't that be boring on my TBR? Anyway, I am super excited to take part in this challenge, and I can't wait to join Team Mystic and hopefully read them all. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! God, what was with the finger guns?